Afghanistan, Iraq, Ukraine, and the Chinese police station in Canada and US. Join us for January Global Snapshot. As we're starting this year, we continue our goals and our missions in Afghanistan. And we are right now in the midst of being able to help within Afghanistan. We all know that Afghanistan facing the worst humanitarian crisis. And right now, as we are seeing Taliban more and more persecuting women, persecuting minorities, persecuting their own people, and more Islamic Sharia laws, restrictions of the extremism, we see how the pain of the people of Afghanistan increasing. With the winter coming and the presence of winter in Afghanistan, even the humanitarian aid become much worse. So we encourage you to help us to help the Afghani people in this time, in the time of crisis, knowing for sure that they need our help. Here we are not talking about helping Taliban. Taliban is a terrorist organization that we will never be cooperating with them, but I'm talking about Afghan people, not the Afghan regime. Thank you. We continue our work in Ukraine as the work rages and there is no sign of this war ending anytime soon, but also with more information and more evidence of war crimes, killing of civilians. That means that the humanitarian aid is needed now more even than the war when it started. Sadly, when the war started, we all got hyper, everybody wanted to help. A year later, we almost forgot Ukraine. We almost forgot the need of the Ukrainian people, but also the fact here that the people there need more help and support today than they needed it even in the beginning of the war. As the Russians now more and more using their war machines against civilians, we see now more and more devastation, especially in the energy sector, where become a target recently in the last 2-3 months of the Russian soldiers and troops, basically to put the population of Ukraine in cold and darkness during the winter. Now, the need for more heaters, the need for more helping children in an orphanage, the more for medications and humanitarian aid is increasing by the minute. For that, we thank you as well for continuing helping with us during this time. We are excited and we are happy to inform you that our mission to Iraq is getting closer and closer. While we cannot release the exact date for security reasons, we can tell you right now that we have a delegation is ready to go to Iraq. And in order for us to continue this important work, to follow up on the minorities in Iraq, the Christians, the Yazidis, the Sabians, Mandians, the Baha'is, the Shias and the Sunnis, we have to ensure that our organization will follow up on the great work that we started in Iraq for many years. Well, the question always that we get, why now Iraq? Listen, if we only help people for a period of time and after that we leave them and we don't continue the follow-up, they will continue back again to the need. They will continue and they will return back again to the war. That's exactly what's happened in Afghanistan. During the Mujahideen war, we supported the Mujahideen against the Russians. After that, we left them behind, we didn't help them. And now look how Afghanistan become. It's very important that we follow up. It's very important that we carry on the good work that we started there, so we don't leave the Iraqi people behind, and definitely not the minorities behind. And we can always see a progress in Iraq. Now, this trip is still extremely dangerous. ISIS, even though they claim that ISIS is defeated, and they are defeated in their territories, but their ideology still exists. And many of the ISIS fighters still exist in Iraq and in Syria. So continue your support, continue your prayers for our mission. We'll update you upon our return. As I said, we cannot announce much before the mission for security reasons, but upon our return, we'll share with you the footage and the great work that we started there. With the police stations, with the Chinese police stations in Canada, we are more and more surprised of the lack of movement from the American government and from the Canadian government. And it's quite interference with our sovereignty, with our who we are as a Canadians, when the Chinese build these police stations in many of the cities, both in Canada and in the United States and in Europe. We have, our government have to hear our voices now. And now this is the question that I want to ask every and each one of our members. And I really enjoy our interaction together. I really enjoy when I ask you questions and you answer us and we receive your feedback. Now, is it fair, is it safe for our Canadian security that we don't know where is this police stations? How much do we have confidence remain in this government? How much confident more do we need to see our security system, our national security system, failing to pinpoint this, where is this police stations, and our political leadership failing to take an action to basically kicking them outside of the land and to clear all their influence from our land? Now imagine you are living in Edmonton, Ontario, British Columbia, wherever you are, and you don't know that just beside you and then building next to you is a Chinese police station. You didn't know that. We don't know where is their location. We're demanding, and please join us, we're demanding from the Canadian government, from the American government, to tell us their location and to take the immediate action in an order to shut them down. Thank you for joining us for the January Global Snapshot. Looking forward to hear from you. Thank you. Thank you for watching our YouTube channel. Please subscribe to our channel. The more you subscribe, the more we'll have a stronger voice in the social media. Thank you for being part of the solution. Click subscribe.